the conversation where manufacturer and service provider aspiration meets consumer expectation. Consumer Voice Television.
Consumer Voice Television is brought to you by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC.
My name is Reward Enna Kerapo, and co-hosting this show with me is
Dorcon Rimdan.
Dorcon, have you ever purchased an item or a service and it didn't quite work as advertised, and when you tried to take it back or resolve the issue, nobody would listen to you?
One too many instances.
It's happened to me quite a bit in insurance. I bought some things from a supermarket and nobody would listen. You did your best to explain and nobody cared. Well, if you found yourself in that situation, you're watching the right program. Every week, I'll be out bringing you interesting conversations and issues on consumer rights. While Dorcon,
I'll be at the commission with staff and management at the FCCPC, as well as consumers and business owners, sharing and hearing from them about their rights and responsibilities.
Interesting. So stay with us and see what happens next.
It is such a pleasure to be here with you, Dr. Adamu Abdullahi, the Executive Commissioner Operations, FCCPC.
You are most welcome to FCCPC. It's a pleasure having you here.
Now let's start from the beginning. Can you please enlighten our viewers on their fundamental consumer rights and responsibilities?
The rights are already enshrined. Even you have God-given rights that when you are born, you have the right to life, you have a right to good health, you have a right to your security, and governments all over the world, that's what they are here to make sure happen. Then there are also consumer rights, plenty of them that are enshrined or given by the United Nations. And when you go to the departments, you will of course get the details of this. All I can do is talk about the policy. And the policy is to make sure that we ensure that all these rights are upheld, rights of the consumer of goods and services in Nigeria.
Can you please tell us about those policies?
Okay, there is a mandate that this commission has. In anything that's competition and consumer protection, we are the apex consumer protection body. Of course, there are other mandates given to sector regulators. You see, in the case of power, we have the Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, NCC for communications, the CBN for finance, the NCAA for aviation and things like that. So essentially what we do is oversee what these agencies do. So we go into MOUs with them. That's what our act says we should do, and ensure that we work together, because it's for the betterment of our own citizens and the consumers of goods and services. So it makes our job much easier when we do this. And then also other consumer protection bodies. We have a lot of civil liberty organizations that come to us. We register them and work together with them. And they bring up issues for our attention. And this has been helpful to us over the years, because our mandate is so big. If you look at just the competition aspect of it, you find out that there are a lot of companies that have monopolies. Monopoly is wrong. There are those that abuse their dominant market positions. There are those that come together, and when it comes to vying for contracts for government, they come together and do things that are wrong. So that's only on the consumer and the competition aspect. So we now come to consumer protection aspect. First of all, you have to ensure that people even know you exist. That's why we have a full-fledged consumer education department. And then the issue of protection. You have to do surveillance, you have to investigate. So we have a department of surveillance and investigation. Then you have to also have quality. So the standards, there's a quality assurance and standards department also under operations. So essentially what we do is to oversee this department and ensure that they do the right thing. So complaints come to us as the heads, quite all right. But then when they do, we have to ensure that they go to the relevant departments and they work together in cohort and come up with results. Sometimes it's much deeper than you think. We are always on the social media platforms, so we look at what people complain about and we ensure that we go ahead and investigate and find out what is happening in the space. Businesses are out to make money, of course, you know that. So therefore, when the economy is deregulated, such as we have in Nigeria now, you have to have a body that ensures that the right thing is done. Otherwise, the consumer is always at the receiving end. So that's what we do, essentially, to ensure that we come up with these policies to protect the interests of the consumer.
And still staying with the interest of the consumer, how are the consumers able to access you and know that they have these rights?
We go on various campaigns to ensure that they know we exist. Only in 2018 we came up with the Patient's Bill of Rights. That is to ensure that patients in hospitals get goods, the services they require from the hospitals, and they know what their rights are. When you come to see a doctor, he has to explain to you what your disease is. He has to tell you what he wants to do about your health. He has to tell you what kind of tests you have to go through. He has to tell you what it will cost you and things like that. So therefore, we have laid out all these rights. And then the obligations that the patient also has to the hospital whenever you're there. You have to be cautious to the hospital staff and things like that. So we go all around the country and we go to hospitals and cut the tape to declare this or to domesticate these rights, so that this is now displayed in places where the patient knows or sees and reads and knows what his rights are and what his responsibilities are in the hospital. We go even further to train hospital staff and then to also hold town hall meetings. This was done in Canada. I was there, and we ensured that we held this town hall meeting, invited people from outside, discuss what the problems are, try to find solutions, and it is working because we have gone to almost all the 6 zones of the Federation now. In electricity also, we have gone into the electricity market. We organize 5-day sessions in which we sit down with the Electricity Regulatory Commission, with NEMSA, that the meter company, as well as the DISCO itself, that the distribution company of electricity in that zone. We were in Jos only recently. For 5 days, we sit down. All we do is establish desks and invite people from town to come and lodge their complaints. And these complaints are resolved there and then. So all these are publicity stunts that the FCCPC is using to make sure that people know that we exist. And then we are also, of course, very, very busy in social media. We have all the social media handles, and we even have what that you can download and lodge your complaint. Our website is there if you need any information about us, and we are good to go. We more or less have moved this commission from a virtual unknown CPC in the last 3 years to what we are today. It has not been easy, but then things have been working, and we believe that people know we exist now more than they used to before.
A lot of consumers don't know their responsibilities. Can you please enlighten us on the responsibilities of consumers?
The background from which I'm coming has prepared me for this. My last assignment was as Director of Consumer Protection of the NCA, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. And that is where it shows more than anywhere else that you really need to educate consumers on what their responsibilities are. Passengers believe that whenever their flights are delayed or cancelled, the best way to go about it is to beat up the airline staff. Meanwhile, the staff that's checking you in, or the one that is cutting your boarding pass, does not run the airline. It doesn't even know what's going on. Most probably even the airline manager in that airport is not privy to the decision of the airline to cancel or delay the flight. That aircraft that is supposed to do that flight might have developed an AOG, an aircraft on ground, a fault in another airport which you are not aware of, or it may be delayed by weather in another airport which you are not aware of. It may be delayed by a VIP movement in another airport, you don't know. And weather may be good where you are, and it may be very bad, and the aircraft cannot leave its airport, the airport that it is at the moment. So all these are things that the NCA knows, but the consumer doesn't know. So you educate the consumer on all these things that you should know about aviation first and foremost before even flying. So if you know all this, you also appreciate what the airlines are going through. That way, you know that you should not take the law into your hands. You know that there are laws that also protect you. You know that when the airline delays a flight, there are some things that you should do to alleviate your suffering at the moment. You know that when the airline loses your bag, there's a whole convention, Montreal Convention, that protects you. So all these are things that we used to do when we were in the aviation business. And we used to really go out to make noise even in the airport terminals and distribute flyers and decide on maybe getting the MTNs or the Celtels or whatever network, Glow, to do just some note that goes to a select number of consumers, maybe 1 million at a time, and send all these messages that contains the rights and obligations of consumers. Went even further to have boards in the electronic boards in the airports that now display rights and obligations. So all these are efforts towards ensuring that passengers know that with obligations, with rights, there is also an obligation. So yes, you have rights, but it doesn't give you the go-ahead to slap people in the airport or to break their computers or whatever, or run to the airside and block the aircraft from moving. So in the same manner here, that's what we do. We ensure that the consumer, whenever he comes and lodges a complaint to us, first of all, we have to make sure that he or she has lodged that complaint with the service provider first and foremost. That's a requirement. And then the sector regulator is there as a buffer between us. So it only comes to us when all these other remedial efforts have failed. And we make that very clear to them whenever they come. And then we make it very clear to them also that when they come to hold mediation meetings with us, it's not a matter of, it's not a shouting match. It's not going to be a place where you can now go ahead and be rude to others. No, they are offering services, you are consumer of services. You have a contract agreement between you yourselves. If there's a failure in that contract, there's a way to judge or and sort it out. So essentially, that's what happens, and we believe that that's the way to go. You know.
The FCCPC has been here for a number of years, and your organization has been doing so much in enlightening the general public. One of such is having you here on television and enlightening the viewers. But looking at how far you have come as a commission, would you say that the Nigerian audience is getting the message?
We're only 3 years old compared to other agencies. I believe that we are doing well. But then the only way we can know we are doing well or not is by gauging what the consumers think of what we do. Going by newspaper reports, going by the social media, you would notice that yes, everybody believes and knows. But more especially, going by the number of complaints that we receive. If you only received 2,000 complaints last year and this year you receive 5,000, it doesn't mean that you're not working. It means that you're working, because that means people have confidence in you and they believe that when they bring their complaints to you, you have ways of resolving those complaints. We receive a barrage of complaints on a daily basis here. That means people have trust and believe in us and know that we can sort out their problems.
Thank you, sir. Now that we have heard from the Executive Commissioner Operations, FCCPC, let's hit the streets and find out from Nigerians if they know their fundamental rights as consumers. I'm right here at Jabi Lake Mall with Munira. She has just gotten herself a nightwear. Munira, do you know your rights and responsibilities as a consumer?
Not really.
Good afternoon to you, sir. Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Zubi.
All right, Mr. Zubi, are you aware of your rights and responsibilities as a consumer?
Can you make that a bit clearer? My rights, how?
Alan, do you know about any rights and responsibilities as a consumer?
Not really.
Honestly, I don't. I would say I don't know.
Hi, Precious. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Do you know that you have rights and responsibilities as a consumer?
Yep.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Good afternoon.
Do you know your rights as a consumer?
Yes, I do.
Can you please mention some of these rights?
Well, I have a right to choice, and I have a right to variety, I believe.
Okay. Do you also know that you have responsibilities?
None that I know of.
Okay, so you only know of the rights of the consumers, but consumers also have responsibilities. But do you know that business owners have rights and responsibilities to you as well?
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Jasmine, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Do you know that you have rights and responsibilities, fundamental rights and responsibilities as a consumer?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any of these rights?
Yes.
Want to mention one?
Yeah, I know that the customer is always right.
Can you please list a few of these rights that you're aware of?
Just like you said, right to demand for a receipt, right to point out if there's a faulty item, and I think that's it. I can't bring them off head now, but when I meet the issues, I think I will probably know within my rights how to handle it. Yeah.
How do you know about these few rights that you're aware of? Do you know that there's a commission in charge of taking care and handling the consumer rights?
Yeah. The Consumer Protection Commission. Is that it?
Which is now the Federal Competition
Okay, they changed the name.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. But I know about them, the Consumer Protection Commission. Yeah. Even though I've not really gotten into it formally, like to read about the rights, but I just know, you have your rights, and I take law generally, apply it in every other aspect. So it's not as if I know about consumer rights per se. Do you understand? It's just, how law works, and I try to operate within it. That's it. So I don't really know formally, point by point, my rights as a consumer. No, I don't.
Have you ever experienced a time where you're just angry at this business provider, but you don't know what to do?
Yes, a lot of times now. Because sometimes the cost of what you are getting will not commensurate for the amount you're paying for it, and it's really not something that we should do.
Do you know there's an office set up to attend to every complaint from consumers?
I only heard of standard organization regarding the quality of items you get, not really company responsible for complaints.
So you've never heard of the FCCPC?
No.
Okay. All right, do you have any instance where a business owner maybe spoke to you rudely or did something that left you unsatisfied?
Yes, I did.
Please tell us about it.
Actually, I went to get some stuff in a particular store. It was having a different price tag when I went there, and when I paid, I noticed that my price was like ×4 of the amount I paid when I left. So when I came back, I was like, this is what I saw and this is what I'm paying for. Like, you should have brought it back, But I said, even if I brought it back, you guys wouldn't have done anything. So there was no need for me to spend transport going and coming and come and explain myself to somebody that, okay, I got this and it's like this and it's like that. So that was how I let it slide.
And by so doing, we've only encouraged that. But let me let you know that the FCCPC actually provides you a right to report such cases.
Okay, the reasons why I actually didn't take it very seriously because, okay, even if I make a complaint, what would be done? They would have, we'll get back to you after so and so working time. But most times we know it's going to take a longer period of time for me to get good response. So that's why I just had to let it go.
Have you ever encountered a terrible service from a service provider or a business owner?
Yes, mostly online vendors. Sometimes they communicate well before you pay for a service, and after payment to communicate becomes a problem. It's like you're begging them to deliver the service you paid for. Yeah.
Did you ever do anything about that?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't know what to do in that situation than just to follow them gently and then get my service.
In complaining, nothing much is done. At most, we are sorry if it comes. But that's about it most times.
I am so shocked and surprised at how many Nigerians are not aware of their rights and responsibilities as consumers. Now let's get to the part of business owners to see if they do know about their rights and responsibilities to their consumers. Welcome to this really interesting conversation I'm about to have with Mr. Abiola Okparende. He's the marketing manager right here at Jabi Lake Mall. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. As the marketing manager here at Jabi Lake Mall, overseeing a lot of businesses, do you think that business owners here are well aware of their responsibilities to their consumers?
If you look at the tenant mix we have here, we have quite a lot of international, global brands. No international brand would want to hand over their franchise to a business owner without proper orientation, getting them to understand the importance of having the right kind of consumer experience as well as exposure. So I would say yes, that they are very much aware. And also part of what we do as part of our own due diligence is even at the point of giving out a store to a business, we do what is called the necessary due diligence to ensure that these people have been in business for a long time. Also check their track records to be sure that yes, they have very good positive reviews. But beyond that, what we do is on a monthly basis, we have what we call the Jabi Lake Mall newsletter. In it, we share, beyond consumer trends, we also share with them what we expect from them with respect to how shoppers should be treated, because we're very big on shopper experience.
Would you say that consumers who visit Jabi Lake Mall are well aware that your office is open to them, and do they access that?
Yes, like I did say, that's primarily because we try to maintain the standard of what we do to be international. And what we've done is, even at the point of entry, you would realize that the security guys who welcome you into the mall, there's a level of courtesy that tells you that, look, if I have any complaints, I can walk up to these people. And from time to time, we put out our communication to the whole world that, look, if there's anything you want, you can reach out to us. Our phone numbers, our faces are on our website. We respond to queries on our social media platform. You can come online to either Instagram, Facebook, ask a question, you get the feedback. And if there's any issue happening within the mall, we leave our office to come in and sort it out with them. And what this has done is that once shoppers have that feeling that, look, if I have a complaint, I can go to this management office and it will be taken care of. It gives them that confidence. They can pass on this information to everyone that, look, if at all you have any complaints in Jabi Lake Mall, it will be sorted out and you will get the best of experience. So yes, they are very much aware, and we try to put it out in their faces at all times.
Are you well aware of consumer rights, and can you share some of these rights that you are aware of with us?
Okay, yeah, I'm also a consumer, even though I manage a business like this.
Yes.
I know first that I have every right to be treated well when I go to a store to get something. And then I'm also protected from fraudulent practices by store owners or either their attendants. And the fact that they cannot sell substandard goods to me. So I have a right to complain if I'm not satisfied about that. And for me, I believe that every consumer should be aware of this, and we try as much as possible to make sure that if a shopper comes in and says, I feel this is not right, we reinforce that, look, you have a right to be treated well, you have a right to even demand for your receipts, which is part of the communication we send out to tell at the tills, demand for your receipts before you leave, so that you have something to prove that you've been at this particular point. And when we follow through, especially with our tenants, that's the retailers here, we try as much as possible to also educate them that, look, yes, customers have their own rights, shoppers have a right, but you also have a right to protect your business as well. You have a right to demand, if somebody is making a payment, you have to demand to see the evidence. For example, if they are making transfers, you have to see evidence. It has to reflect in your own books before you let them out. So you don't have cases of being probably duped by fraudulent alerts and stuff like that. And also, if you have a no return policy, call it out clearly. When people come in, people want to come and make deposits, let them know to what extent their deposit can be sustained. If it is 1 week, beyond 1 week, call it out, educate your shoppers. So that at the end of the day, your shoppers know, they know their rights, you know what your rights are, you know what your terms are. With that, it reduces the tension, the friction that comes in commercial transaction. So we try to manage this within the law and also having a human face. We don't want shoppers to live here unsatisfied, And we don't want our retailers also to go at a loss because they are running a business and trying to satisfy shoppers. So there has to be a balance.
This has been such an insightful conversation with our guest. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Right.
Thank you.
And this has been really and truly informative. We hope that you've been able to pick 1 or 2 lessons from our conversation with the marketing manager right here at Jabi Lake Mall. We've been to the streets, we've heard from the Nigerian audience. We can see how they really don't know that much. What do you have to say about that?
We have to thank you very much for doing what you did. And it is an eye-opener because we rely on a lot of feedback. And this is one of them that we have got. And we know that. That is why we are doing what we are doing. That's why we have you here. So that you can go out and tell them that we are here and we have their backs. So therefore, now it's over to the media organizations as well as other individuals to generate as much publicity as possible through talks such as this so that we can open up and the public knows the things that we do. That way, we get consumers to know that we exist and they can always come to us to have their problems solved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dokon, for those engaging interviews and mind-blowing conversations. It's been quite an empowering and enlightening episode. Remember, your voice is your power. To reach out to us on our social media handles and tell us about your consumer experience, complaints, and recommendations. The social media handles are here on the screen. Until this time next week, my name is Reward Enakerapo, and this is Consumer Voice Television.